Right, so we're going for go here. Now, we're with Jennifer from Tipperary. And you're over here in the stand. Is this your first time up in Belfast Whisky Social?
First time up in Belfast Whisky Social, yeah. Really enjoyed it.
Are you sure? Have you met some of these people?
I feel like I've met everyone now.
Good. I probably met everybody, and I'm not enjoying it as much as you. Anyway, how you getting on? People reacting well to your stuff?
Yeah, getting on really well. We've got a really wide selection on the stand today. So we've got everything from exclusively bourbon matured whiskies through to some really quirky things like Riojas finished in mezcal or sake casks. And we've even got a brandy on the stand. So I think there's something kind of for everyone there.
Do me a favour, can I touch a wee drop of the sake?
Yeah.
So you're booking a holiday to Japan, so I might as well get a taste in before we head off, you know?
Sorry. That one like sake. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
So we actually did this in conjunction with our Japanese importers. That was the joint of full measure, sorry.
Aye, go on ahead, don't be... Listen, after the day, you've been spending a day in Belfast, you need to have this here, you know?
I'm used to pouring with the understanding that everyone's got like about 50 whiskies to taste today.
I know, don't worry. My liver can take the abuse, don't worry.
It's a hero.
No.
So we did this in conjunction with our Japanese importers. And it is, it's our homegrown barley. So we grew the barley ourselves. It's a 2016 harvest, sent it off to be malted. Yeah. And this was actually distilled before we finished our distillery. So we flew my dad over and he distilled it for us at another distillery. And then we took it back to the farm to mature. So it has spent 6.5 years in a first fill Rioja cask. And then it's matured for the last 6 months in a sake cask. So sake season cask.
Sake I always find... I like sake because it's kind of vinegary. You know, it's kind of got that, those sort of weird notes that you don't get in whiskey that appear up. And this has that sort of, sounds bizarre, but you've kind of got sweet and vinegary-ness going on at the same time. I find
it quite, yes. I find it sort of sweet and savoury flavours complementing each other. Mm. Yeah. Super unusual. Lots of fruit from the Rioja.
Lots of fruit, but there's also that lovely wood note that just hits you there just in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite funky in the nose. And then sort of a classic whiskey with a real nice woody note that goes right the way through it. It's lovely. That's really nice. That's really nice, actually.
Thanks so much.
No, that's lovely. Yeah, that's very different.
Super unusual, hopefully, yeah. Something you can chat about.
What price is that about?
That is sitting at £93 with the wee whiskey shop.
Wait, you're not from Tipperary originally?
I'm not, no. I'm born in Scotland. I'm married to a Tipperary farmer.
Whereabouts of Scotland?
All over. So my dad managed different Scottish distilleries. So he managed Highland Park, Glenfiddich, Durban Grain.
So it must all just run through your blood then, does it?
I have 3 access to a man who knows a lot about distilling whiskey.
Aye, and what does he think of the Irish whiskey scene? What's he thinking of it? Let's be honest, we're wee minnows standing beside our big brother across the water, you know?
I think he's really enjoying the experimental aspect of it just now. So like he's managed lots of different distilleries. This is the first whiskey distillery he's kind of owned with me and Liam. And he's really enjoying a lot of my experimentation. So I was allowed to experiment with the mezcal cask here, the sake cask. He put the reins on me. I tried to get a coffee liqueur cask in earlier this year and I got told no. Yeah. But he's definitely, he's enjoying the amount of experimentation and he's enjoying, because we can experiment with everything. We can experiment with our grains, we can experiment with our cut points, we're experimenting with the fermentation lengths. There's a lot of freedom to play about when we go around distillery. So,
are you a distiller? You do the distilling, do you?
Yeah, so I was distilling yesterday and then planned to stand up and came up today,
Died on Christmas Day.
Tipperary is one of those ones that just sort of have been quietly doing their own thing. I mean, they've been doing very experimental stuff. I mean, and I've tried the Rioja, I've tried the first release stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it's very well created, very well made. I
think I'm going to go.
You aren't a big distillery. You're not one of the behemoths of Irish whiskey.
No, we're not. I'd say we're one of the smallest distilleries in Ireland.
Wee tiny one. but the thing is, as you rightly say, it allows you to experiment and do other stuff. And How does that decision-making process, who comes up with the ideas, or do you think, right, well, what have we not done, or, how does that come about?
Yeah, I think when we're so small, you don't have the marketing budget of other people, and so you're trying to be noticed with our stories. So we are hoping that we can do something that people will talk about, that people will find interesting, and so there's some things that come around through collaboration. So like that sake cask, we speak to our Japanese importers. We say, how do you think you would feel if we did this? Most of that went straight out to Japan. And then the rest of it, we were like, okay, let's see what the Irish market thinks about it. Other parts of it come about because I'm buying a sake cask after this chat. And then I go to myself, I can just stick a mezcal cask on this thing order. And I decide to go wild. And sometimes it works. And sometimes it's like the mezcal, you decided dead and we released it. And sometimes it doesn't. And we go, okay, we're going to have to take a step back and use like this one because it's not quite planned out. So we do a lot of stuff that's more mainstream as well. So we do a lot of, say, we're releasing a pot still later this year. And that is matured in a sherry, finished in a port. And you're kind of fairly sure that as long as we get good caps, that's going to work well.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, that's fantastic as well. I've tasted a couple of really cracking stuff here today. That's probably the nicest thing I've tasted today. No, that's being serious. I'm not just saying that. I tasted the peanut pot still up there with Glendalough. I was really impressed with that, and a few other bits and pieces. But that's lovely. Really, really, really different. Can I see the bottle? Where's the bottle at?
Steal my bottle.
Sorry. That's convenient.
Can I have a
Absolutely.
Is this going to be? Is this limited? Right, you can do that.
Yeah, so we've got 600 bottles, and about 400 of them went out to Japan. So we only had 200 bottles left in our lives. We're down to about our last 20 cases.
Right, there's only 20. My credit card getting another rattle in the morning. I'm sorry, it's trying to bring back, but there's stuff that I really want to pick up, and that's one of them. That's chuffing lovely. I really, yeah.
That's one of my favourites. There's got a wee QR code on the back, and if you follow the QR codes, you can see everything from where it was going, when it was going, what the growing season was like, the distillation parameters, like the maturation conditions, all the way through.
They don't be doing the Waterford on us, for God's sake. You know, is it? Give me saying that. No, that is absolutely beautiful. I have to say that. It's really, really top stuff. Yeah, Jennifer, we'll get a catch up with you later on because I really want to talk to you about some of this other stuff as well. But yeah. Get yourself a bottle of this if you can, because that's